Hello everyone, I am John. I'm a software engineer and I created this channel to help those to try to get as many people into the computer technology world as we know it, especially with AI, as AI is quite cheap at the moment and it's extremely useful and bridges the gap of the unknown to the known as quickly as humans have ever experienced it, and it's only going to get more expensive over the next years. So this channel is going to try to teach people that computers are not scary, coding is not scary. It's actually very simple. It really comes down to, I'd say it just ones and zeros. Is something happening or is something not happening? What do you do when something happens? What do you do when something doesn't happen? And just build on that foundation where you have multiple of those. It's called conditions. That's the first terminology. All right. So I am going to open up a terminal because most of my tutorials are probably going to be within the terminal. It's generally how I do my stuff, and it's not scary. I am on Linux. If you're watching this video and want to learn Linux commands, how to use it, how to navigate it, what it is, terminology, brand new on Linux, this is for you. So I'm going to open up a terminal, move myself out of the way, and I'm going to open up a terminal. I can open it up very easily with super enter because I'm on Arch Linux, by the way, but that doesn't really matter. All these commands generally will run on any Linux. It's really your version, your flavor of Linux is just installation, but I'm not really going to be showing that. I'm really going to be showing the navigation. Uh, Terminal. Terminal is a scary term. Movies fantasize about it, but it's really just a fancy way to navigate files. Hey, you ever heard of a file explorer? Windows, Mac, Linux? Hey, Linux has them too, and here it is. So we can see here, this is a file explorer, and this is a terminal. So terminal, when you open it, it always opens up at this little a tilde. Essentially, that means home, or the home path of your user. Because there's a term called PWD, which is the path of the working directory. Directory really just means folder. And so if I do this, you can see that I'm in home telep, as I am in my user telep in the home directory. So this is actually in home telep as well. Look at that. And if I do ls, which is just list here, or I just do ls, it will list in the current path of the working directory. Because I am in home telep working directory, it should list this. What do you know? It lists that. Crazy. So here, there's different folders. Folders are a very simple concept. If you've used a computer, use your phone, everything is a folder upon a folder upon a folder until you get to a file. And then a file is either a document that you can type in, it is a image. An image is considered a file. It could be a piece of software, an executable. It just depends. Computers, all they are just massive file folders within folders that lead to a file that are referenced all over the place. You don't really need to know that at all. Once you get down to the nitty gritty, it really is just one folder is in one location. You need to reference that folder. You just say, hey, I need to grab that stuff in that folder. Easy. So PWD, path of the working directory, ls, list. It just lists what's within your directory. Like I said, a directory is a folder. They're interchangeable. Directory is just the terminology used within a terminal or command prompt, and that's just what it is. So directory equals folder. So another command that I'll be using often is mkdir make directory. That is crazy. All right, so I'm going to create a directory called tutorial. And watch this. Bam. Oh, what do you know? Tutorial is created over here. So now we can go into that tutorial. What do you know? File Explorer is on this side. Terminal is on that side. They're the same thing. It's just a fancy way to navigate the File Explorer without having the UI and right click in new folder. All right. CD is another very common command. It is called change directory. Change directory into tutorial. So what do you know? Now we're within tutorial. So we created a directory, a folder via a command in a terminal. Simple. So now we can, what do you do within a folder? You create a file. To create a file, we can use a command called touch. So I want to create a file called example.txt that doesn't exist currently in this directory folder. So we can create one if we touch.example.txt. Look at that. It is created. Touch, it's creating a file via touch is very common. Everyone does it, but it wasn't exactly what it was originally built for. Touching an example that text was originally for just touching a file. Funny verbiage, but it really would just touch a file and it would update to the current timestamp that it was touched to keep history that it was reviewed and then touched. But it's not as prevalent anymore as it's very common. So now that we touched a file, we want to edit it. Editing, there's so many different ways you can edit a file within Linux. For this purposes, I'm going to use Nano, which is built into many of the operating systems that people are probably using these days. Uh, for me, I actually had to install it, believe it or not. But I'm going to use Nano as I think it's the most common and very simple for beginners. If you don't have it, it's you just install it via simple command. But Nano is a simple way to edit a file. So you just do nano example.txt and it will open up an editor within the terminal. You can see here it's the GNU Nano 9.0 version, and here at the top, the file we are editing. So you can see, and you can just start editing in here. We do this line 7. We go down here, print ln, where ln equals test. This is a text file, but that is Python code. So it doesn't matter. This is a text file. You can do whatever you want in here. This is just editing a file. It does not have any fancy styling. This is simply a very, very basic way to manipulate files. It was not really meant to do large coding, navigating projects, as you obviously don't see directories on the side. You are simply adding context to that file. To save it, you do down here at the bottom, you can see write out, which is a caret O, which actually means control O. There's a lot of other stuff, control K, control T. These are all preferences. You can change them, but these are the default. Control O will write it to the file. You control O preps it to write as it's actually within a buffer. It's not actually manipulating the file itself. So you have to tell it where to write what you've been editing in that buffer. So here it says write file to example.txt. You can't actually change the name and write to a brand new file, but you originated from example.txt. It's a nice little feature, not super common, but you can do it. So generally you just want to click enter to say you want to write to the file, the exact file that you originally opened. And now it says wrote 32 lines. To exit the editor, you can do control X and you exited the editor. So now that you've edited it, you can open it normally. This opens normally via whatever default editor you have. You can see here, this is NeoVim. You can close this And when you're over here, you can also view it with cat. Cat example.txt will print out the entire file within the terminal. There you go. So that is one common way to just view everything. If you're opening a file that's thousands of lines, it's not very useful, but it's one way to do it. What is useful is different ways to view a file. There's a terminology called head or tail, which means the head of the file or the tail of the file. Head is the top of the file, tail is the bottom of the file. And you can view certain lines on the top or the tail of the file that you want to choose. This is very common for, say, logs. Logs generally go iteratively down the file. The most prevalent, most recent logs are at the bottom. The earliest logs are at the top. You want to find an error. You want to see what just happened at a log that's been running for months. That's a million lines long. You tail the last 100 lines to view that last 100 lines of the file without having to pull the whole thing down. You can just view it in the terminal. So here, say we want to view the last 5 lines of example.txt. Bam, last 5 lines. Say you want to view the first 5 lines of example.txt. Head, 5 lines, example.txt. Bang. And then remember, you can just cat it, which shows the whole file, which is also that. So last 5 lines, first 5 lines. Simple stuff. It's just useful stuff that I'll be using in the terminal tutorials. My bad. So now that we know how to see where we are, create a folder directory, create a file, edit the file, see what's within the file, and then list what files are within the current directory, that is a pretty good foundation. If another common thing you'll see me doing within the tutorial is just to set up the various things, as many of these commands require some foundation to actually work, that I'm going to be tutorialing, is cd, which you know is change directory, and that is dot dot. Dot dot means just go back one path. So currently, if you know if pwd is a tutorial, pwd pathing or path of the working directory, the file folder that you're currently within, therefore working in, shows this. So home telep tutorial. If you want to get out, if you want to go back one directory to telep, you could just do cd dot dot. There you go. And you can go on forever. You can go cd dot 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 dot, which will go back 2. Crazy. Now look at that. I am within nothing. If you do here, this is all the jazz of the actual operating system itself. Beauty of Linux. I can come in here and just delete everything and break my computer, and it will let me do it because it expects me to know not to do it. But if you want to do it, you can do it. Freedom. Love to see it. All right. And also in change directory, you can go back here, change home to telep. There you go. Now I'm back in here. If we go back in the tutorial, there we go. We're in it. All right, I'd say the last couple things that you can see is cleanup. Cleanup's important, or just removal, deletion. Like everyone knows, you can go in here, right click, and move to trash or delete. You could do that, or you could type in a command because you want to be cool. You could do rm, remove, fancy, and then it requires what you want to remove. Example.txt. Bam. It's deleted. Crazy. And if you go back one directory, and if you want to delete the directory that you just created, the tutorial, rmdir, remove directory, and then the tutorial directory. Crazy. Bam. The directory is gone. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. If you enjoyed this, enjoy it. I'm not gonna be one person to say like, subscribe, ring the bell. I don't like that. I'm just gonna create this stuff off the cuff, and if you like it, you like it. I'm gonna be educational. I'm gonna get better at it. I've never edited a video. Hell, this is my first video. If you like it, you like it. I'm gonna just simply show stuff, and I'm gonna learn with you. Adios.